Okay. So before we dive into doing these calculations in SPSS, hopefully, the formulas were a little bit helpful to just kind of aid in understanding where these numbers are coming from. Um, but before we dive in here, let me see, can I get this? Yeah. I would like to quickly go over concept that we've already gone through before. And it just involves the null and not, like when we're doing a correlation. What we want to do is assess when we're doing this kind of analysis the null and alternative hypothesis, right? So the null hypothesis, right, is going to simply be that our coefficient is equal to 0, which indicates that there's no relationship. And our alternative hypothesis is simply going to be r is not equal to 0, meaning that if it's, greater than 0, right, as we know, or less than 0, then we're going to have either a positive correlation or a negative one, right? So let's take a look here together how we can do this correlation in SPSS. So let me go navigate to my data. I would like to import my data. It is a CSV file that it is saved on my MacBook. So let's see CSV. So I don't actually see it here. Should I go into all? Is this? That was a CSV file. Okay, let me try this again. So file. Okay, how about I just open the data and I go back here. Instead of, I thought it was a CSV file type, but I don't see it. So let me just go through all file types and again, don't see it. So let me just double check that it's in my folder. Okay. So I don't see the file. What I'll do is I might be able to actually copy and paste the file into this desktop. I'm gonna try to do it. I'm not sure if it'll work. Let me put it here so you guys can see. I'm gonna try to take this file, copy. Let's see if I can paste it here. Okay, that's not working. Yeah. Okay, so next thing I'll try is maybe moving this file. Can I drag it here? No, I won't let me do that. How about I put it, well, it's already on my desktop. I guess I put it in my documents to help. See if that helps. Open data and I put it in my documents on my MacBook. So I know that it's CSV file. Okay, and it pops up here for some weird reason. Cool. So it didn't pop up when I looked for it on my desktop, but what I did was, you saw, I removed the file from my desktop, put it in my documents, and see if it would be able to retrieve it from there. And it seems like it has been able to do so, which is nice. So I'm gonna hit open on that. Open that data setup. I'll give you a little preview of the data here. It looks good. Age, blood sugar. Next. No, okay, next. Delimited, right? The variables are delimited with a comma, as we know. That's what CSV stands for, comma, separated values, right? These values are separated by a comma. Next. Period, okay. Alright, next. Yeah, that's exactly, oh, well, it got confused with the word sugar, but I can always just delete this out. Next. variable name. Let's should I just say the software that it's not necessary. Okay, finish. And boom, it took a while, but it popped up. So it actually ended up missing the interpreting and thinking that sugar was a variable in itself when really blood sugar is one word. So what I can simply just go ahead and do is just right click and clear this variable out. That's not supposed to be there. But yeah, so SPSS does its best job to try to read the data as you would try to interpret it. Doesn't always get it right, as you can see, and we can just tweak it and clean it up. But if we look at our variables, we can see that both of these measures are scale, right? So they're both numeric type. Name, age, and blood is both numeric. They have different widths, 2 and 3. That's because some of the blood measurements have 3 digits. All of the age measurements only have 2. There's no decimals. We can add labels and values, but that's not necessary because it's just continuous. There's no missing data. There are 8 columns. Right. 8 columns. And don't worry about this. Okay, and what's important here is that the measures are scalar, right? It's a scale. We know it's numerical. So first thing I want to do with this data is I would like to create a scatter plot. So in order to create a scatter plot, right, that's a graphical representation, I'm going to go into my graphs tab, hit legacy dialogues, and then I will go to the best type of representation that we know for 2 continuous variables is scatter plot. And I just want a simple scatter plot. And I'm going to say define that for me. So again, when we were looking at the x and y axis together, I told you that typically you want to have your predictor variable. In this case, our predictor for blood sugar is going to be age. Oh, and this is blood. I actually want to say blood sugar. So you know what? I'm going to fix this really quickly before we make the scatter plot. Because you can just simply like fix the name here, blood sugar. Just type it in. I just double click in here and type it in. And now I'll go back and do a scatter plot real quick. Alright, so simple, click on that, hit define. And again, so we want our x-axis to have the age along the bottom, right? That's our predictor. Our x, our independent variable. And we want our y variable along the y-axis, our outcome variable to be, right, the blood sugar. We're thinking that, and we're hypothesizing that it's possibly predetermined by age, right? Your blood sugar is possibly, so I have to highlight it and then click it over. It's possibly determined by age, and let's hit OK. And let's see how that looks. Okay, beautiful. So SPS made this beautiful graph for us. We have the ages across the bottom, right? We know that the lowest age is 30, the highest age is 60. And if I wanted to get more information about this, I could also do some descriptive statistics. Remember when we did that in the beginning of the course, and I can see all of the information about the data. But for right now, just focusing on how this looks, we're like, okay, there seems to be some dots going in a linear fashion here. I believe if you double click on this, just double click to activate. Double click. We could properties, variables. Let's double click. Oh, here's the chart editor. So add a reference line from the equation. So kind of like when we was in Excel and we added a best fit line. Let's see, is this? Yeah. So this gives us the best fit line. And as you can see again, that's that linear relationship that we were looking at earlier. So this is the best fit line, and it gives us the equation. You don't really need to like go too into depth into this. This is kind of higher level stuff, but it's basically giving you the y-intercept, right? Slope, if you recall learning about slope in any of your previous algebra or math courses, this is the formula for the slope given to you from SPSS. But we don't need to really focus too much on that in this course. I just want you to realize that this is the best fit line. And what kind of relationship would you say this is technically? Is it a negative relationship, positive, or is there no relationship? Well, just based on looking at this map, this vested line,
Seems as if there is a positive relationship going on here, but what'll actually confirm that for us is when we do the
actual correlation analysis, and then we look at our sensible linear regression. So we'll do that in the next coming video.